Recording in progress. Yay.
Girls.
All right. So this is our first episode of Living on a Prayer, right?
Yeah. Can you see me? Hang on. Let me fix the light situation in here.
That's better. Look at that. Sun rays on you.
There.
Awesome.
Sunshiny vibes.
Yay.
Not what I was giving off approximately 42 seconds ago. Just kidding.
Just
We
kidding.
worked through it.
Yes. So we are going to talk some stuff this morning, right? Like
Yeah.
we had a conversation before we came on here, but then we're like, we got to do this. So
Yeah. Why aren't we recording this? That
we
happens
are.
all the time, doesn't it?
Yeah. And now we are.
Yeah.
So our conversation started about tax shit, how icky that feels, right?
Called
How
her. I'm like, what
stressful.
are you doing? Or how are you? She's like, oh, I'm fine. I'm like, what are you doing? Taxes? I'm like, ew.
Ew, exactly. And look at that. Cheers.
Cheers. Methylene blue,
Yep,
mitochondria stimulation.
exactly. We're gonna biohack the shit out of everything we can.
We are. Can we talk about what this is for a second? Actually,
So,
can you talk about what this is for a second?
um, so I really don't know a shit ton about methylene blue other than it's a biohacking thing that's been around for since the early 1900s. And they used it for many different things. And now it's just kind of come to the surface again. I would highly encourage like reading the book about methylene blue, The Ultimate Guide to Methylene Blue. It's on
Yeah.
Audible. But essentially it helps to oxygenate the blood cells faster and help push the toxins out and repair that cellular structure so that you like it's healthy cells, right? It can help your lungs, it can help your circulation, it can help you detox, like all the good
Lymph.
stuff. Lymph, yeah, all of it.
Yeah, we got to move
And you
that
will
lymph.
poop blue, and you will pee blue, and it's all good.
I haven't seen so much blue poop. Pee definitely.
Yeah.
But I'm like, gosh, this is because I bought, you had given me some that you purchased and it was in powder form. The
Yep.
one that I bought was a liquid concentrate. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, ooh, I mean, 3 drops in water is what
Yeah.
that
And
looks like.
after having the powder, I would prefer the liquid because it's so hard to get the little granules at a certain amount. That's why mine is like super dark because
Yep,
it's so hard to measure out with the
that's why
little
your poop's blue.
right, right. And that's
But
why
if
my
your
teeth are
poop's blue,
blue.
you
That's
know
why
you're
my
getting enough, right?
tongue is blue.
My Yeah, my
Yeah.
understanding was like it was originally developed as a textile dye.
Yes, a dye. Yep.
And at first I was like, I don't think that's for me because I
Right.
just have like this, well, knowing about like what the processed dyes can do to our
Right.
bodies,
Right. Hmm.
Um, so it actually took me like a long time to start listening to you and taking it. But I read that book and then I kept reading more and more about it. And I'm like, okay, oh, is that the
Right.
worst thing I'm doing to my body right now? No, I don't think so. So I'll give it a
Right.
whirl. But I've been since before the holidays, I think I've kind of started really implementing it. More so like when I was taking care of mom, I think because she was
Right.
drinking it as well.
Hmm.
So that's when I kind of really started. But now I'm like diligent about it and making
Yeah.
sure
Well,
I'm mixing
and
that
if
with my electrolytes and
absolutely. And if you ever have like carbon monoxide poisoning, they're going to give it to you intravenously in the hospital to help the oxygen in your blood because carbon monoxide like snuffs out the oxygen in your blood. And that's why you ultimately die from carbon monoxide poisoning.
they give
So,
you this.
yeah, they do it intravenously. Yeah.
Right.
It's the ultimate biohack, right? Like,
Yeah, let's
they're
get this party started. Good. I'm glad.
yeah. Dr. Jess Petros too, she has a lot of methylene blue on her. videos and reels and things like that too. So yeah,
Okay.
on Instagram. I don't think she's on Facebook anymore, but on Instagram. But she was one of the speakers at
Sure.
a Cellcore event, so that's how I got to know her. Yeah.
Awesome. Um, so I add it, to my water, and I also add electrolytes to my water. And the reason I'm transitioning, this is like the segue into
Mhm.
like how do we wanted to talk about how do we ground our energy
Right.
and the different ways that we can do that.
Yeah.
And electrolytes for me is one of the biggest ones. And me and my husband were sitting in the hot tub last night, and I was like, you really need to make sure you're getting enough electrolytes because otherwise, I said, think about, I mean, he's a lineman. I'm like, think about a huge storm comes through and a power line gets snapped off, and the freaking lines are just like whipping
Yeah.
haphazardly all over the place, and this energy is like going everywhere. That's what happens to us when we're not grounded. We get out of our bodies and we're like in our heads and we're overthinking and we're in fight or flight and we're reverting back to old ways of coping and we're like doing all this
Right.
stuff that's not helpful because our energy is not grounded.
Yeah.
So electrolytes, because we're electric beings,
Yes. We're
makes
made up
sense.
of water, and a lot of electrolytes are developed from sea minerals, which help support our cellular structure and health. When our cells aren't healthy, they're not going to absorb water, which is what the electrolytes help them to do. So it's very beneficial for everybody to drink electrolytes, to get grounded, to be in alignment and keep your energy flowing. We're 90% water. And we need to keep the energy flowing with water. So if you're not drinking water, fucking drink water with electrolytes. Like
Yeah, yeah,
totally. But
please do. And not like when we're thinking of electrolytes, we're not talking about Pedialyte
or
or
Gatorade,
Gatorade.
Powerade. Bleh.
That, yeah, those commercial drinks are
Yeah,
not beneficial. They're not fueling your body because there's so much other shit in there that your body has to process and detox
exactly.
that you can't absorb it and it can't fully do what it's intended to do. Or,
Exactly.
well, maybe it's not intended from those companies, but
Right.
it's just a matter of getting enough salt and minerals
You said it right there.
in your
Salt.
body.
Salt is a mineral, right? So even
Yeah.
if you don't have the extra money to buy, expensive minerals, although most of them are good, not all of them are, but Celtic sea salt, like just start pouring it in your water.
Yeah.
Put it in there, stir it up, chuck it
Yeah.
down.
Absolutely.
Um, so yeah.
I like, I mean, I use like an electrolyte powder, but I also add salt to it because it tastes like a little margarita. And I'm like, ooh, this is a
Yeah,
delicious little.
exactly. Hmm.
Um, but yeah, that's my number one go-to way of grounding is for me water. And it's not just like getting the electrolytes and the consumption
Right.
of water, but it's
Being in
standing in the
water.
shower
Yep.
and letting it just pelt me. It's going down by the river. It's washing my hands. Washing the dishes is a very grounding practice for me.
It is.
Being like standing there, being intentional, like we're
You said it
cleaning
there
this.
too, like being intentional, like having the intention to wash away what isn't serving you when you're in the
Yep,
shower, when you're washing your hands and your dishes, like when you're in the hot tub, like whatever it is that you aren't feeling so great about it. And maybe you don't even know, but you just know you're not feeling yourself. It's a good time to
yep,
get grounded. With
yep.
water, with soil, with wind, with whatever.
And
Sometimes it's
is
just
it
breathing.
is it true that like whatever your I'm not super savvy on like signs, people's personal signs and whatever, but
Mhm.
your so I'm a fire sign, right?
Mhm.
Your medicine is in like the opposite end of the elemental wheel. Is that
So
true?
I don't necessarily know a lot about this personal science either, but just knowing you're a fire sign, but your go-to is water, I wouldn't necessarily agree with that statement.
Okay.
You know, I think each individual is so different that you have to really honor what works for you. And maybe you need to try several different things to figure out what that is, but not to let
One of
some
everything.
article, to let some article or some person like identify what's good for you because they may be speaking, and I had this happen to me last night where they're speaking about being grounded and how the earth is shifting and the energy. And the person was like, you just need to go dig deeper. You need to sink your roots deeper into the earth. And I'm like, whoa, wait a minute here. Like, not everybody can ground into the earth. Some people need the water, the fluidity of water to feel calm and feel relaxed. Some people need to like really breathe and be intentional about their breathing to get grounded and get relaxed. And some people need to lay on the ground, whatever it is, but don't let somebody else's filter of energy or how they perceive things um distinguish how you feel. Like really honor
Yep.
like who you are. I mean, that statement triggered me because I'm like, well, what we can ground up so that we can give everything to the heavens and let that energy flow through us and down. As above, so below, but as below, so above. So just like sit, allow yourself to be in the flow and let the energy move within you or around you or however, but I would say always use your own filter, which is that gut instinct chakra or your heart chakra. It's never going to lie to you. We just don't listen to it, right? We're like, whatever, I'm going to do it this
Right.
way.
Right. And when we were talking about this morning on the phone, we're like, we should be recording this. I'm like, you told me that story, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is exactly what I wrote in my journal this morning. I was one of my teachers said, always work from spirit. So meaning like if you're not feeling good, what's the first thing you do? I I go here and I ask, what do I need to, right now? What do I need to know
Mhm.
right now? What do I need to, and then I go do whatever the thing is. Always
Right.
like go to spirit first, and then intentionalize it, and then move it to the physical and go do the damn thing. So
Exactly.
we all ground in different ways, but yeah, like you said, coming through when I very first started like doing energetic healing practices and modalities, like that's what I felt my connection to the divine
Yep.
first and foremost.
Yep.
And that is the energy that comes through my body to connect me to here and now,
Absolutely.
presence on Mother Earth.
Yep.
So yeah,
And
I mean,
it's a
and
matter
as
of like,
far as my question like about the elements, like I don't know a whole lot about it, but I find that like, so I ask God first, what's,
Mhm.
show me what I need to do. And most of the time it's something with water.
Right.
It's something like that's the immediate medicine to
Right.
immediately get me out of that funk. It works like the fastest for
Right.
me.
Right. And that's, I'm glad you say that too, because like when I have my granddaughter and she's super cranky, I'm like, you need to go take a shower and just wash the crabbies away. And
Yep.
it works every time,
Yep.
and she's an earth sign too. So it's like,
Yeah.
oh, like not everything's going to work for everybody because it was written in a book. It was
Yeah.
perceived by that person or
Right.
they're whatever. Like you can read thousands of books. I have lots of books on how to work with energy and how it moves. And that's
Yep.
coming from that person who's writing it, their perception, their filter. My filter might
Yes.
say something else.
I just said this the other day too. And it might not work for you and you might not resonate with that, but that's okay. Move on. Do
Mhm.
do it. If it doesn't work, move on to the next thing. Like what does work for you? And our bodies are
Right.
so different and we each perceive energy so differently. This is why you go to the doctor and you get prescribed something that somebody else gets prescribed. It affects your
Yes.
bodies totally differently,
Yep.
and it's the same thing with any type of medicine. What works for one might not work for another.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's
So
why also like my profession with nutrition and muscle testing, everybody's so different. Like there's never a one size fits all. And there's not a one size diet or lifestyle that fits all. So it's all individual. And those that work from like this is the only way to do whatever, XYZ. That's like a mindset thing. Like you're stuck. Like it's time to think
It is.
outside the box. And you can't keep
It's
doing,
a limiting belief.
yeah, a limiting belief. Like you can't keep doing the same thing and expect a different result.
Right.
You have to,
Yep. You
you
want to get better,
have
you
to
got to do
shift.
better.
Gotta do better. But also like the self-help thing, there's nothing about us that says there's something wrong with who we are. And if we just stay with like, I'm I am who I am and I'm growing, it's way better than saying, oh God, I need to change my mindset because it's not healthy. Well,
Right.
it might not be in somebody else's perception or filter, but it's you. Like, what are you thinking? What are you feeling? Do you feel like it's all bad? Or is this just a lesson or a step and we just keep moving and we keep reading and whatever is working for us? But we can't stay stagnant. We just have to
Yep.
keep moving like water. It has to flow.
It does. It does. And then too, some things that like worked for me back a couple years ago have evolved or changed or they no longer work. And that's okay too. Like
Exactly.
it's like you can outgrow these tools or these, you're trying to build upon them is what you're
Right.
trying to do.
Right.
And as you get better, you will build upon them. And
Right.
sometimes like what you learned, like, okay, that worked for a while, but it no longer works,
Right.
you know?
Exactly. And same way with people, like people will grow and evolve and they may come into your life at a certain point and they may leave or they may stay the whole time or they may not or they may come
Yep.
back and they're all like everything is divinely guided. Like it's all from
Divinely guided.
divinely guided.
We are completely out of control. And
Completely.
yeah, and great spirit is in control, and that's it.
Yeah.
So, going back to like the grounding, when we are trying to control something
Yes.
that is out of our control, like if you were to sit down and make a list of all the things that you're worried about,
Right.
and then go through that list and like put a check mark next to each one of those things that you control.
That list would not have any check marks on it.
Right. You
Yeah.
know? So it's like, man, you got to let that shit go. You have to turn that worry. So many of us worry about the people that we love, worry about the state of the world, worry about our future, worry,
Worry, worry, worry. Yep.
Yeah. We have to be able to figure out a way to turn that like shitty, sticky, low vibrational energy into something useful, into action, into like progress, into
Right.
growth, into what am I going to do about this? No, I can't
Right.
control it. What am I going to do to change my energy around it? And you can't do it if you're not grounded.
And sometimes like just talking with a like-minded person is enough to ground you and to get you, like there's so many ways to ground. Like you and I know that when we're like intuitively it just happens like, oh God, I'm having a shitty time with taxes and Jenna calls. Jenna's having a shitty day. I call her. Like it's not like we
Yeah.
talk beforehand, like, hey, it just
Yeah.
happens.
No. And then you were like, oh, yeah, it's the 31st, sales and use. I'm like, oh shit, it's due today.
Yeah.
Without you, I'd be dead or even worse.
But we are here to like spread the light on all of
Yeah.
this, right? Like we're here to say it's okay and to reach out if you need help and like wherever you are is where you're supposed to be and
Yeah.
like don't beat yourself up. Like
Don't beat yourself up because we're just like, none of us know what we're doing. None of us are in
no.
control. But if we just follow like those inklings of our heart and those like passions and feed the good stuff, then we'll figure it out. And
We're
then we just get
figuring
to
it
walk.
out.
Yeah. And then we just get to walk each other home.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And that's kind of how we came up. Should we tell them about how we came up with living on a prayer?
Yeah, you go ahead.
Okay.
I was
So
driving.
Miss Jenna and I were having just a general conversation. And of course, we're always like, well, we should record this. And then we're like, okay, well, we should do a podcast, but a different podcast because Jenna has her podcast and I have my podcast. And we're like, what should we call it? And like the whole
To
conversation that
avoid
day, I was hearing
the,
all of these, like,
wait, let me interrupt you for one
okay.
second. Sorry. But it was to avoid because I'm like, oh my God, I have you as a guest on my podcast every time I record an episode. And I'm like, okay, this is like, we need to just put this in a separate folder. Okay.
Yeah,
So anyway,
yeah.
continue. Sorry.
And no, that's great because that's what happened, right?
Yeah.
And then like the whole conversation, I'm hearing all these like music lyrics and all this like symbolism, and I'm like, okay. And then we go, well, what are we gonna call it? Immediately, Bon Jovi comes in my head, "Living on a Prayer," and it's literally the lyrics, like,
And it
"Take
was,
my hand, we'll make it, I swear." Like,
I had like it was a whole body fuck yes for me because I don't know. I can't remember if I blacked out in that moment because it was so perfect. But I
yeah,
remember if I told you, like, that is one of the very, very first songs I ever learned, like, verbatim, start to finish at a very young age. And I have been like a walking, okay, I can't do new music, but I am a lyrical.
yeah,
And my mom was like, how do you know every single word to every single song? You are so bizarre, you know? But that is the first song I remember riding in her Mercury and hearing that on the radio and being like, what a beautiful song. So as soon as you said it, I was like, yeah, yes, because
yeah.
that's what we're doing here.
Yeah, well, like we're here to hold everybody's hand and we're gonna walk through it. Like the end
Hold each
result's
other's
the same
hands.
for everybody, but goddamn, it's so much nicer when we have each of us to say, "Hey, I got you."
I know. Can you hold my hand and hold me in the fetal position?
Yes, yes,
And can
yes,
you continue to do that? You've been doing that for 5 years.
yes, yes. I'll even bring
Thank you.
my magic mat up.
Thank you. I love that.
Yeah,
Love that thing.
yeah, yeah.
Awesome.
So now what?
Now
Now,
what? What else? Oh, I wanted to talk about have you talk about the Shape Reclaim program.
oh,
Okay.
okay.
Like just a quick run through of what it is. I started this, I actually started a week late, but my I started life a week late. It's fine.
Hmm.
So this program is I'm just gonna let you do it and then I'll ask questions
Okay.
that came up for me that'll maybe help other people kind of decipher if it's something that's for them or not.
So, Shape Reclaimed is a practitioner guided detox program. Most people have the side effect of weight loss, but there are so many other like beneficial side effects to it. Um, like less inflammation, less digestive issues, like all the normal stuff, right? But we weekly do a urinalysis, which tells me how your body is responding to the program. Like maybe you need more protein, maybe you need more water, maybe you're not drinking enough water, maybe you need electrolytes to help your cellular health.
Or
Maybe
D, all of the above.
maybe you need more carbohydrates, maybe you need more fruit. Like your urinalysis every week tells me that, and you have me guiding you through to make those changes. Um, but some people do like they're very toxic and they have other things going on that you need to like get ready to do that program, even though the program is, in my opinion, gentle. But when I first started, I had headaches every day for 3 weeks. So it's not that I ate poorly at all, but my body still had things to get rid of. So yeah, it's generally a 30-day program to start with. But if you haven't, how do I say this, achieved the results you're hoping for in those 30 days, we just continue on until you've got those results. You've achieved what you wanted to achieve.
Right. So phase one is
Right.
considered like the 30-day.
Correct. Yep.
Okay.
But you don't get to phase two until you've achieved your results, right? Because why would you
Right.
move to the next step if you're not ready for it?
You ain't ready yet. So when
So
you introduced this program to me, I was like, okay, what is it? How do I do it? How do I sign up? Whatever. Because um at turning 40 and like wanting to address hormonal issues before they arise as I'm like entering menopause, like it's really, and all the things that have happened in the course of the last year,
yeah.
like it's really important to me to get balance in my body. Like I don't have a weight loss goal,
Right.
but I do want to create the healthiest environment possible in order for me to age with grace, with no pain, with, no
Right.
inflammation, with no parasites and all this other bullshit that goes on.
Yeah.
Um, so I started, it would have been the 13th, or wait, the 12th of January, the
Yep.
13th,
12.
somewhere in there.
Yep.
So that has been, let's see, 2.5, almost 3 weeks. And all it is eating whole foods, no process anything,
Right.
no sugar, um, and then taking 5 ml of a drop morning, noon, and night,
Yeah. Yep.
right? Like that's it.
That's it. Yeah. It's
I don't have
generally
to
just
think.
eating clean and doing some
Yep.
drops and
Eat.
yeah.
So,
Sometimes you need to add
so
more electrolytes in,
yep.
depending
So
on what.
week
Yeah.
one, I pissed on a stick, and I all I had to do was like take a picture of it and send it to you, and you were like, you need protein and electrolytes, and I'm like, oh, okay. So for the course of the next week, I made sure I was adding more, and then the next week, I pissed on a stick, and you're like, you need protein and electrolytes, and I'm like, what?
Yep.
Why? What is
Yep.
happening?
Yep.
But I wasn't absorbing
The
my
minerals.
minerals. And I wasn't getting enough. I know that. So we supplemented that with the Spectrumin and
Hmm.
the rehydration drops, which I happen to have on hand from, gosh, I love my little medicine cabinet, like everything I need. I have everything I need. Okay.
You do. We all do.
So started putting that in my water with my electrolytes and my pinch of sea salt. And then I pissed on a stick the other day and you were like, good job, back off on the electrolyte. Just a little bit.
Yeah.
But and what I found is not only, okay, I started this program like shortly after I had found the lump in my breast. I actually started it on the full moon. Weird, not even
Weird.
weird. Um, and doing this program plus other things to help aid like drainage of the lymph and like get
Mhm.
my adrenals and my kidneys and my liver back to
Right.
functioning properly. Um, it like my energy, my ability to ground myself, and my ability to breathe and not react. Like, not only that, yes, all of these things, but here's the mind-blowing part. Here is the part that just has me like, so up until I started this, I had, okay, from September until January, really inward, really private, really grieving, really
Yeah. You were going
like
through the hard, heavy stuff. Yeah.
going through the stuff. And it was like starting this, doing these things, and really like stepping up into my power of like, am I gonna fucking love myself or not? Am I going to be who I say I am, or am I not? This
Yep.
program and doing that helped me like shed all the bullshit. I will say that I went through sugar withdrawals.
Hmm.
I didn't
And you
realize
didn't
how
eat
much
much.
I well, I was eating more than I thought I was. It
Right.
wasn't just, the little dark chocolate at night. It wasn't just the little wine here and there. It wasn't just the craft beers.
Sure.
It was like crackers and,
Hmm.
bread, sourdough bread, which I'm like, this is a healthy option. This is what I need to be doing. But like, give me that toast, pasta, stuff that
Yeah.
I was eating every single
Sure.
day.
Yep.
And it's like, oh, this is why I have inflammation. This is why I have, and I don't know if there's something like within the drops that help. Actually, I know there is
Yes.
that help to like change your attitude and your mood and your, I don't know. It's like it's
Yeah.
changing a pair
Yeah.
of glasses and all of a sudden you can see clearly like I have to do this.
Yeah.
I get to do this. I get this one body. I get to take care of it. And I feel like since I started just a couple weeks ago, I haven't stepped on a scale or done any measurement or anything like that, but I feel like I lost 100 fucking pounds.
Energetically. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
I can see more clearly. I can, like, my senses have,
Yep.
feels like
Amplified.
they've been amplified. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
My
And the other
intuition
thing
is
I
much
noticed
more
is like,
strong. My discern,
yeah,
it's
your
much more
thought
easily to
processes are more clear.
discern.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
poop is amazing and satisfying.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it
So
will definitely give you an emotional detox too. And some people have a really hard time with that. Like with those control freaks that don't want to let go, they have a hard time with that and they
it's
quit.
hard.
They
It's
quit.
hard because I will say it is hard. And there were
Mhm.
a couple points where I could feel like detox. Okay, think about what an addict, because at
Yeah.
this stage of the game, that's what I am, an addict. Um, Coming off of their vice.
Right.
Think
Yep.
of like sweats and shakes and like crying and like the stuff all
It's
coming
all
out,
the
like
stuff. Yeah.
withdrawal symptoms. There were, of course, this coincided with my cycle and
Mhm.
the week leading up to the first day of my cycle, but
Right.
it was just very real and very visceral. But what I realized is like I have the capacity to feel that
Mhm.
and just take it and just allow it to go through my body however that needed to happen.
Exactly.
And it was like, holy shit. Once I
Yeah.
felt it, like 2 seconds, but once I did it, I actually feel like a million bucks better and like I'm ready to love myself. I'm
Love
ready to
yourself. Yep.
get up in the morning and move my body and nourish my body and,
Yeah.
actually grab a hold of my fucking life because it's like I'm 40, you know,
Right.
that might be middle aged. It might not be.
I don't think it is,
All I
but
know is I'm going to utilize my time with complete and utter presence, pouring love into myself so I can give to everybody
first.
else. And I can't do
Yeah.
that if I'm not taking care
Exactly.
of me.
Exactly. Yep. Hooray.
Thank
So
you.
proud of you. I know, drum roll, right?
Well, it is too. And that's another
It
thing too.
is.
Being yes, it's very humbling, but also being like the small wins and like getting through the day and being like,
Yes.
holy shit, I did not even have any sugar today. Oh
Mhm.
my gosh, like that is the big win, and seeing
It
those
is.
little tiny baby steps as fuel to keep going and to keep moving and to keep like, ooh, I need some water or like, what do I need in
Yeah.
this moment to feel good?
Right.
What,
And
what's the next thing I can do to feel good?
absolutely. And
Mind, body,
having
spirit.
a practitioner, me, to help guide you through that. And sometimes it's just a vent and just a talk. And that's fine. That's my purpose. That's why I'm here to help you through programs. And not just like with
5
Sacred
a.m.
Claimed, but with Reiki, with
5
Sacred
a.m. or
Childbirth.
9 p.m. when you're on vacation. I love
I
it.
wasn't on vacation. I just took a couple hiatus days and it was all good. It was so refreshing.
Good.
Yeah. But
That too.
yeah.
It doesn't have to be much, but just stepping away. Like if you're in a caregiving role, especially if you
Hmm.
are a person of service, if you are a humanitarian trying to help the world, you have got to be able to step away. And
Yes.
I don't mean just like my husband and I were talking about this because we have been nowhere in a really long
Yeah.
time, other
Yeah.
than like when he has to go to something, a safety convention for work,
Right.
which is,
Right. Not the
you know,
same.
not the same. But just getting away from the house for a day because he and I are both like, if we're here, we have to be working, we have to
Oh,
be doing
same.
something, we
Same.
have to be,
We had to get away, and it just worked out with me and my husband to just like, okay, we're gonna go do this. We
yep,
traveled 6 hours to go do it. And let me tell you,
yep,
I don't regret a single second of it.
no
It
regret.
was no regrets. It
Good.
was the best ever, like to come back totally refreshed and be able to do tax shit.
Ew, yeah,
But like, yeah, it's been so good. I think we're about out of time for our free session, so we'll have to continue this. And I'm super excited.
yeah,
So
I am
we will
too.
get
Thank
a
you.
date
Thank you for
hammered
the
out
lead.
and we'll do many of these. So
Yeah, I was
I don't
thinking a
know.
couple 4,000 of them a week. Okay.
Okay,
Like every time I call you, we'll just record
perfect. Because Zoom's going to work
it. So
great
we
that
just
way.
do, yeah, 9 hours of content every week.
Hey, so be it. Think how many people we can reach with 9 hours of content and help
I
them.
know. Hopefully all of them.
All of them. Exactly. All right. I'm going to end the call and we
Okay.
will do this again. Living
Sounds
on a
great.
prayer, everybody.
Living on a prayer. Love you.
Bye.
Bye.